Welcome to the process. It is Thursday, January 20th. Are we going live yet? That is the real question. So far, it appears my answer is no. But we shall see. Oh, we are. We are live. Checking it on my phone too. This is going to be a bit of a journey, everybody, because I am not where I normally am. I am in my bedroom. All right, so I see myself. This is working out pretty well. Let's see if the audio is good. I am in my bedroom. All right, so I see myself. This is working out pretty well. Perfect. Let's see if the audio. Good stuff. Good stuff right here. So this one's going to be way different than it normally is. One, I'm in Pennsylvania, not North Carolina. Two, I do not have multiple monitors in front of me. This is a very different experience. I have just my laptop screen. We are producing this one differently than we normally do. I hope that you guys see the screen as well as you normally do. You might actually even be able to see it better. Who the hell knows? It looks pretty clear to me if I look at it on my phone, which makes me at least a little bit interested about streaming this way moving forward, but neither here nor there for right now. We are rising, we are grinding. I don't know how efficient I'm going to be moving through everything we're doing. We're lucky today that we get a 3-game slate. There's no like big screen of me or anything today. This will be a disaster. It's really weird to see me on my phone that's working as my second monitor so I could actually see chat. So it's good to see everybody here still popping up at 6:30. It is a brisk like 20 degrees outside in PA today. I believe if it's not snowing right now, it's about to snow, which is just great. I did a little shoveling yesterday for what I believe is the first time in like 13 years. Not a job that I was looking to get again, yet here we are. And as it turns out, Friday night into Saturday night, Wilmington, North Carolina, my normal home, is getting an ice storm. And we get snow/ice like once every 4 years. I think the last time that we had any accumulation was in 2018. That was snow. In 2014, that was ice. So that is on its way. But no, that's not all that interesting. Ooh, -9 in the Twin Cities. That's not ideal. I saw that cold front was coming down in that sort of area, and I remember seeing like -30s and stuff. That's brutal. I have no idea anything that happened yesterday in the NBA. I don't really know anything that happened Tuesday night either. I've been away from it for a bit. All I know is I think that Domantas Sabonis sprained his ankle and that Russ was benched for the final 4 minutes in one of Frank Vogel's last basketball games. But for now, I think that I have all of my crap on this table ready to go. There's one tradition, and in chat, and I guess I kind of want to get this from everybody. How's my audio? Do I sound all right? Does the stream look okay? I just want to make sure that this is running correctly because I don't really have a reference point right now. So let me know, I don't know, 1 to 10, how the stream looks for today, and that'll help out a little bit. Izzy, thanks. I'm all over the place here. Good audio, sounds good, a lot of thumbs ups. That's what I like to hear. I was a little nervous about this, but I made a makeshift setup. It's just a laptop in my bedroom, man. If only I knew that this could have been my career when I was using this bedroom to be my bedroom. Life would be very, very different right now. Who could have seen the ability to have this little ass camera, microphone, whatever, and just broadcast to the internet? And I would have people wake up in the morning at 6:30 to have these sort of conversations with me. It's bonkers. Appreciate having you guys. Let's get into it. But first, still got it. Rise and grind. No rise and grind banner today, unfortunately. Rise and grind still works. Maybe I should have put like a picture of Rise and Grind on the screen or something, but still got the coffee. That's for sure. Let's move this lid around a little bit. The good thing about traveling to my parents' house is that we give them the same Yetis that my wife's company gives out every year. So I'm still drinking out of the same thing I would normally drink out of. So cheers to you guys. Still Rise and Grind. Coffee, tea, water, beer. You guys know the drill. Knock that back. Oh man, that cheers is really cool. It's cooler than I thought it was. Oh man, that coffee's hot. I'm gonna slurp in this microphone a lot because it's right up in my grill. I should probably be talking to the microphone like this more frequently, but it's really hard to get it up in my face when I'm at my house. We'll deal with it later. First game up on the docket: New Orleans Pelicans at the New York Knickerbockers, 210.5 total. Now, this is where it's going to get really tricky, bouncing around on the screen, but I'm hoping that I can do this. So for the Pels, Devontae Graham is questionable. Clearly, we don't have Zion. And that's just kind of it. So this is what looks to me just a standard issue Pelicans rotation. Last time out, every single one of the I mean, you can say even the last 4 times to a degree. I think Herb Jones got in foul trouble in this one, but they are running a very tight, very specific rotation. Hart, Jones, Ingram, Valanciunas, and Devontae Graham are playing a ton. They're playing into the 30s, and that's just what happens every single time out. At which point the bench stops being relevant, whether it's Garrett Temple, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I got to take Gary Clark's minutes out of there and redistribute, but they are basically running a 9-man rotation. That's easy to handle. So let's adjust everything here and make sure that we're getting it right. Obviously, we're keeping Devontae Graham in, and we don't have any real need to change any rates. The Pelicans are, oddly enough, like pretty firm in the things that they're doing, barring somebody being out. Now, if Devontae Graham is out, feel free to fire up a healthy dose of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's clearly going to be underpriced in that regard. And then like maybe Jose Alvarado ends up becoming a bit more interesting. It seems like he would. But like Alvarado and Nickeil Alexander-Walker are unquestionably the guys that get the biggest bump if he ends up out. So let's just finish off this rotation now that I have to take Gary Clark out. He was still left in from last Monday. So we just bump up Josh Hart a little bit here. We need to keep Josh Hart in at 36 minutes. S&P, you nailed that. Man, it's so weird looking. Chat is in like the same spot that it normally would be in my dual monitor setup. Obviously a little bit higher. I'm all like super Hunchback of Notre Dame right now. CG, yeah, new background today. This background is the background of my childhood bedroom. I'm in Pennsylvania right now, not North Carolina. 36 minutes for Josh Hart, easy. I need to move Alvarado's minutes to where they belong instead of just being tossed in here. So we're going to take 15 here. Or sorry, 16 here for Alvarado. Yeah, I think I need to go to 33 on Devontae Graham, actually. So we'll go 15 to Alvarado. Then I can get Nickeil Alexander-Walker in for whatever he needs at the end. Herbert Jones just has to move those minutes to the 3. Because 32 and 16 split for Joe Valen Hayes, I'm okay with. Actually, that should probably 32-16 is fine. 35-13. Well, 35 for Brandon Ingram at the 4 seems fine too. Then I just need to give Herb Jones these 25 plus Gary Clark. It's so hard to do this on my laptop. I can't even explain to you how different this is. 25 for Herb Jones there. He's averaging 32. So we just want to give him 7. We give Garrett Temple 18. Gives me too many minutes for Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and I'm not comfortable with that. So what we want to do is take Herb Jones to 33. Everybody else can hold. We take Temple to 19. We take Nickeil Alexander-Walker to 21. And I think that's just where we end up for the Pels. Larry, things are as good as they can be right now. We'll take what we can get. Eli, what I'm doing right now is the work that everyone does, everyone should do in this industry if you're providing any data. I'm going through each team one by one, projecting their rotation, using my model to get to our projected fantasy points. Marcus, why should Herb Jones only be playing 30 minutes? Herb Jones has averaged 32 minutes over this last stretch, plays well north of 30 every game except for 2. Not so sure I should make that change. What I will change is to the next team, their opponents, the New York Knicks. Knicks are 3.5-point favorites at home. And what do we know for the Knicks? I'm sure Kemba's questionable. No Reddish, no Rose, no Noel. Kemba came back the last time out, and I believe, if I saw it correctly, that he started. So that's also good to see. Let me at least double check that and see what they did from a rotational standpoint, which means we can finally get an idea. I want to see how those windows change. Okay, that's not actually that bad. I'm really pleasantly surprised with how this is going for me right now. I'm not in Allentown, Cantor. I'm in a town significantly smaller than Allentown. But I'm in the Allentown ballpark at the very least. Where the hell are the Knicks? Oh, well, thank you, Popcorn Machine, for not updating for the past 2 days and going directly to where I needed to be. Yeah, Marcus, that's not a way that I make my projections. Wait, this is the 17th. It's not the game that I want. What day did they play? The 18th. All right. Against who the hell did the Knicks play on the 18th? Oh, CG, it is brutal. It is brutal. Also still not Lancaster. I'm like an hour from both of those places. Minnesota. All right, so this would be 18. At least it's not a team with a weird acronym. Is it reversed? IK Min? So they're just not updated. Okay. Go with it another way. Eli, I don't know who my favorite player is. We've only done the Pelicans so far. I just want the stupid rotations for the damn Knicks game a couple days ago. There we go. All right. So Barrett, Robinson, Randall, Fournier, Kemba. Kemba played reasonable rotations and played 30 minutes. Now, if we know Tibbs, and I'd like to think that we do, more than 30 minutes seems quite likely, as does just about anything else here. So what I'm going to do is cut the minutes for the 1, 2, 3 position, because we know that Mitchell Robinson and, well, we generally know that Mitchell Robinson and Taj Gibson are going to play most of the minutes at center. Rare they go a different direction. So, actually, I need to change. Boop. Boop. Gotta change the resolution on my phone. There we go. That should get good and blurry now for me. Yeah, that's perfect. Am I playing tonight, Izzy? No, I'm not going to be playing tonight. Tomorrow, I won't play again until probably Monday, maybe Saturday night if I'm home and I am trapped by an ice storm. But it's too hard for me to play while I'm gone. Too many things going on right now. So we leave the minutes in for the 4 and the 5 for the Knicks. I guess I'm going to take Mitchell Robinson down a little bit, bump up Taj Gibson a little bit. I think we assume that Kemba Walker can play slightly more than he normally does. We saw Quickly get 9 minutes. Quentin Grimes stayed in the rotation with Kemba coming back. That is probably the most interesting piece of all of this. We see Quickly barely played in the second half. They were willing to go to Grimes more. Neither guy was any good. So I'm going to say that was Alec Burks the direct backup to Kemba? For the most part, when Burks subbed in, he subbed in for Kemba, but he didn't do it the whole time. At this point, they went Barrett, Robinson, Grimes, Toppin, Quickly. So they let Quickly overlap. So I'm going to say this is tricky. Let's give Quickly. Oh, man. Well, let's get everybody else that I think is going to play a ton of minutes the same because we still got 37 out of Barrett. So let's say that happens again and we get, I think I'm only comfortable going 36 with everybody back. We're going to go 36 to Barrett. And I think I'm going to go. I mean, I know Fournier played 37. I don't think that that is a long-term scenario. So I'm going to give him 29. I know that Burks is checking in. It just makes the positions look weird. I'm going to give Quentin Grimes that same sort of run he just had. I'm going to go 15 minutes on Grimes. Whoop, that's 16. 15 minutes on Grimes. And if we do that, we have 33 minutes to go to Quickly and Alec Burks. Now, they played 27, but I don't think that that's a long-term goal. But Burks is, I expect Burks to get slightly more. So I'm going to go 20 to Burks and 13 to Quickly. Who knows? Who knows? So that would be game 1, Knicks Pels. And if we just take a quick look, we'll start with New Orleans. On the New Orleans side, remember, Devontae Graham questionable makes this one look a little bit different if anything changes. But Joval, 7,300 on FanDuel, 7,700 on DraftKings, I think looks a bit better. Yeah, I think I'm going to start streaming like this. I think I like this setup a little bit better. That's neither here nor there. You guys don't care about that. Josh Hart is probably my second favorite Pelican here. 6,500 on FanDuel, 6,300 on DraftKings. Just small forward eligible, which is a crime, but sure. Ingram, Graham, Jones. Obviously for the Pelicans, it's pretty easy to just want to play the starters. They're playing the 30 plus minutes. If this game breaks correctly, then and this one's close, they're going to play 30 plus minutes. So yeah, favorite plays are Joval and Josh Hart. Herbert Jones for 4,400 on DraftKings is so much closer to a good play than anything else. He's $1,400 more expensive on FanDuel. So there's that. On the Knicks side, Kemba Walker, 5,500 on FanDuel, 6,100 on DraftKings. He's actually, I think I need to take a look at something quickly. Might need to look at these rates. Let's just take a quick peek at the Knicks. I just want to see what Kemba's usage rate is. How many games did Derrick Rose not play? But Kemba and Barrett and Randall did. There's probably a couple, right? If it's more than 2 or 3, that's great. Okay, so it's 6. That's exciting. Where the hell did usage rate go? Oh, there we go. It's like, good God. All right, so this is going to be this is where it gets me. All right, so we need less rows per page. 10 done. All right, Julius Randle, 202 minutes in games where Rose doesn't play and Kemba is in. Yeah, Thomas J. Also Thomas J makes me sad. Shout out my girl. I'm back up north at my parents' house for right now, so I'm just like not around. It's one thing to play like a PGA slate. I can't play the NBA from my parents' house. Marcus, glad to help, man. Glad to help. Randall, 25% usage here for the Knicks. So that's actually a little lower. Barrett, 23.5. Okay. Kemba, 19% usage. Yeah, I think I need to make a change to these Knicks rates just so everything looks correct. So let's change this to Derrick Rose off. Kemba, Barrett, and Randall all played. I don't think that anybody else makes that interesting. I don't care about Noel. I don't really care about anybody else being off of the floor. So let's just change it to off and those guys in. And we'll try to get the best sort of idea. Because this will give us a really big minutes bump and let us know sort of what everybody's been doing. Is this gonna work? Oh, it is gonna work. Thank God. So we'll grab Grimes. Yeah, we're taking our time on this one today, guys. We're already at 6:53. We're one game in. I don't have anywhere else to be. And this is not as easy as I'd like it to be on one monitor. And what's weird is we basically got two teams that we didn't even have to really do anything for. Wow, don't go back to no, don't default me to 10 rows. I really need to reach out here and get this bad boy customized a little bit more for myself. All right, so those are the usage rates we wanted. Just to be sure, Randall is at 22.7. Yes. All right, assist rate. This one's easier. Boop. Got it. Because this Knicks team unfortunately matters because of how many games there are on this slate. And then rebounds. Got it. Last thing we want to do is not have the correct rates in, so this should help. Alrighty, so we'll bounce that one back over, bounce this one back over. Actually, no, other way around. That one here, this one here. Now we got it. All right, so we'll start with Randall. 27% usage rate in this scenario, so I am going to cut that down. 7% assist rate stays. Rebounding rate is 11.6. So that'll work too. Next up, RJ Barrett. 22.7% usage rate. 3.7% assist rate. No real change to rebounding, so that's fine. Kemba's going to be the next most interesting person. 20.7% usage rate. That is way lower than you would ever expect for Kemba. Assist rate isn't all that great. Clearly doesn't become like some stellar rebounder either. 444 on the Hyundai K tonight. I might play and just jam randomly then. If it's 444 and I'm sitting around at like 530, I might just crunch a ton of lineups and give myself something to sweat. Why not? Fournier is the last guy, 20.2% usage rate. Doesn't get assists or do anything else of value. I assume I don't have to do anything to Mitchell Robinson, who actually does get like a giant usage haircut here. I don't want to go that crazy, but I'm going to go a little crazy on it. So we'll cut Mitchell Robinson and Taj Gibson. Now we'll say this is the Knicks rotation with proper usage, at which point Kemba is still probably the easiest guy to get to. 5,500 on FanDuel too, so that works. I think that Randall and Barrett look pretty similar across both sites, depending on which one. Like Barrett's a bit better on FanDuel. I think Randall's a bit better on DraftKings. Fournier and Taj are just like a little bit too expensive for what you're trying to get on a slate like this, but I bet Taj is at least mildly popular because of the power forward eligibility. And then Fournier, to me, if he's playing 29 minutes, he's just wildly, wildly overpriced. So 1 game down only took 27 minutes to do. Let's move it on to game number 2. Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks. If we're lucky, no idea if we are. We had no 8 in the last time out. Depth charts are back. Ooh, I see what's happening here. That actually might not matter. All right. Do we have the same sort of information here? So no Ayton. So we're going back to Phoenix, back to the scene of the most recent crime where people were not happy with Phoenix. So we ended up getting a full 48-minute split from Biyombo and JaVale, and miraculously, basically no playing time for Jalen Smith. They went to a 9-man rotation with no Ayton, and that didn't include Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith at that point having played so they're considering Jalen Smith. They're not considering Jalen Smith a 5. That's the thing. Cam Johnson out, Jalen Smith plays. Jay Crowder out, Jalen Smith plays. Both guys out, sure. I think we need to project it as such. So, obviously, I assume JaVale plays more than Bismack Biyombo. And by assume, I mean that's the way that this makes the most sense. We saw... All right, JaVale had... All right, so it was never foul trouble. Why in the world did he come back out for 1 minute and 50 seconds here? Once the blowout was on, they came off for garbage run. So JaVale probably lost Jalen Smith's 2 minutes. So that takes JaVale to 25. I just don't know why you got this rotation. I'm going 26, 25, 23. JaVale to Biyombo. And then the rest of this should just be normal. 34 minutes for Chris Paul is probably one more than I want to do. Campaign in for 22. Devin Booker in for 35 feels about right. Landry Shamet is already at 16. We're going to take him to 19. Crowder's in for 29. Cam Johnson's in for 20. Let's do that. And then that, and that, and then that's Phoenix. And I know that I don't have to change any rates because I handled this when Ayton was out last time. So shouldn't matter all that much right now. Also means that I'm sure JaVale is going to look like an exceptional play. I'm really curious to see what it doesn't appear. It looks like JaVale is still a great play, and it doesn't look like Biyombo is, but we'll see what Biyombo's DraftKings price is because that'll make more sense. Then we'll switch to Dallas. Now for Dallas, what do we know? What I know is I'm enjoying drinking my coffee today. I'm really liking this new setup, guys. Like, if I had a second monitor, I really like the way that I'm streaming this. Porzingis questionable. Shocked. All right, so they played yesterday, I'm guessing. I assume Dallas played yesterday. And that's why Porzingis is... Yep, there it is. Oh, and Luka played... Let's go to OT, or did Luka just play 42 minutes naturally? Oh, yeah, 42 minutes naturally. That's great. Well, that'll play him into shape. All right, so has Porzingis been sitting out back-to-backs? I felt like he wasn't. Ugh. Well, clearly I'm assuming that Kristaps Porzingis plays today. Obviously, he can be out, but we've got plenty of shows that can fix that problem. So for Dallas, I don't really have anything that I want to change here. Maybe Josh Green. I mean, I guess maybe it's not even maybe. It's Josh Green. So we got Jalen Brunson in for 30. That just needs to become 32. I'm going to take Josh Green's minutes out. I've got Luka in for 35. I don't feel much comfort. I mean, I guess I got to take him to 36. Izzy, you like this more? Guys, does this look better to you than it normally does? Or worse or indifferent? I'd like to know what you guys see more. Like, what's better for you guys is what's better for me. But if this looks better to you guys, I'm happy to run it like this more frequently. And by more frequently, I mean permanently moving forward. Zinger in for 30. Dwight Powell in for 18. Dorian Finney-Smith in for 32. I think I can make that 33. Well, I am broadcasting from my parents' house. I don't mean me in the corner is the easy part. That I can do back home. But I mean, like, is it easier to see the spreadsheets today? Cantor. Yeah. Trust me, I am broadcasting from my parents' house. That's a sentence that I never knew could exist. 26 minutes for Maxey seems about right. I got 21 for Reggie Bullock, but that seems fine. I've got 27 for Tim Hardaway. All right, better for you, Izzy. S&P indifferent. Usual way is fine. Okay. I never really see it from like the opposite scope, you know? So I don't know. I never know really what people actually want. So where the hell are all these extra minutes going? I guess Josh Green's just going to have to continue to play like most of the minutes that he was playing. I'm going to give Ntilikina 1 minute and Josh Green 16. So that's Dallas. That game was way easier to project. Neutral is a good answer. Appreciate you. All right, on Phoenix. Best play on Phoenix today is JaVale McGee. I am quite confident. Wow, that changed quickly. I'm quite confident people are going to hate that. Screen can get blurry. The old way looks clear this time. Okay. Ken's just listening, so indifferent nonetheless. Okay. That's fine. I like it, Izzy. I like it. I'll play around with it because ultimately I just want this to be better. Can see the players better. Okay. That's good to know. That's good to know. Because this is easy to replicate for me. We got to go back to JaVale, everybody. I know you guys don't want to do that, but 4,800 on FanDuel, 4K on DraftKings. He's going to be massively owned once again. At least he should be. Just because at 4K, we're talking about a boom score on DraftKings of 30. If you think JaVale plays 30 minutes, or if you think JaVale plays 20 minutes, there's no reason he can't go 1.5 fantasy points per minute. So, and that's a downside scenario. If he is playing 24, 25 minutes, if this game's competitive and he gets that same rotation that he had last time and plays 25 minutes, what are we talking about here? He almost has to play like JaVale McGee's a 1.25 fantasy point per minute guy. That's just like pretty firm. If he scores 1.25 fantasy points per minute and plays 25 minutes, just standard issue center rotation, that's 31 and a quarter fantasy points. That's more right out of the gate. That's already more fantasy points than his boom score. See why like you end up playing these guys more frequently? If JaVale McGee just has an average performance in the average amount of minutes that you're expecting him to play, he's close to essential. If he hits his ceiling there, it's a guarantee that he needs to be in your lineup. So that's JaVale for today. I would say that Mikal Bridges is the second best overall option, although like Booker's a bit too expensive on FanDuel for me to really like him. I'd rather get to Paul on FanDuel. Booker looks a lot better for 8,300 on DK, especially with point guard, shooting guard eligibility. Diego, I'm excited, man. Liverpool Arsenal today, and I get to watch it with my dad. I'm really, really happy that I get to do that because we don't get to see a lot of games together, and it makes me happy that I get to do that today. So that'll be nice. Jay Crowder is pretty interesting on DK at 4,400, but he's just so not good in general. And the lack of eligibility, like Bridges having shooting guard, small forward is so much more valuable than Crowder. All right, so that's Phoenix. We'll go to Dallas now. Not sure. I'm not sure. Play a ton of Luca on DK today. I don't remember what's the final game. Indy Golden State. Yeah. So Luka Doncic is going to be, unless Steph Curry's price is like 9,200 on DK now, Luka is going to be the best play on DraftKings that you can pay up for. 1.45 fantasy points per minute. He's 10-4. He should have more than point guard eligibility. That's a farce, but looks great. 10-9 on FanDuel is a little bit more hairy, but for a guy that gets a lot of, like relatively high turnover guy, doesn't hurt him as much on DraftKings, it's helpful. From Dallas, though, like there's not another positive play on FanDuel. The prices are jacked. Porzingis for 7,600 if he plays is good. If Porzingis happens to get ruled out here, Maxi Kleber is going to certainly look a lot more interesting at 3,900. He's going to be popular nonetheless, just because he's got power forward center. But I think Maxi would work if Porzingis is out, and then you're kind of just bumping up everybody. They don't really get too crazy when that happens. All right, let's close this out. Final game. And actually, I'm going to need to logged into Fantasy Cruncher. I don't ever use my laptop. It's so crazy. Prioritized buying a laptop like a year ago, and I basically don't use it. All right, this will be fun. Final game. The Indiana Pacers, 11-point underdogs in Golden State. And the big piece of news here that I'm aware of, at least, is that Domantas Sabonis is injured. Sprained ankle, going to be out a bit. I don't know anything about Toronto's rotations last night. I haven't seen anything since Monday night, and I won't basically see anything for a while. So no Sabonis, no Turner. Oh, all right. Well, this one's going to be a journey. So Goga's just got to be back. I mean, there's like a literal no way around that one. I guess Sabonis got hurt late. I guess. When did Sabonis get hurt? When did? Oh god, this is just gonna play like 8 million videos, isn't it? 454 the fourth quarter. Stayed in the game. Okay. So you have to assume they start Goga, right? Well, they're playing Golden State. Man, if this is Thomas J. They played yesterday. So the injury report for any team on a back-to-back doesn't exist. They're not under any they don't have to submit an injury report until their shoot around. So the Indiana he wouldn't be listed. He's just going to be out per Carlisle. So let's go ahead and let's get the first parts in first. We know that we got I mean, Malcolm Brogdon played 26. Is Malcolm Brogdon going to play a back-to-back today? How could we assume that Malcolm Brogdon plays a back-to-back? Not only do I think he's going to play a back-to-back, I think he has to play more. So, do we know why Malcolm Brogdon didn't play in the fourth quarter? I mean, he's playing well. 32% usage, 34 DK points in 26 minutes. He can't play, right? I mean, he probably will because the dude, when I think that he's going to be in, he's out. When I think he's going to be out, he's in. So I assume he just played. I just don't know why he didn't play the fourth quarter. Did anybody watch that Pacers game? Does anybody know if he was hurt again? Or was that just like he hit his minutes limit and they ran out of time? I mean, this is an assumption that's basically impossible to make right now. We're going to at least need their information coming out this afternoon. I'm going to give Malcolm Brogdon 28 minutes. And just to be clear here, I don't trust that at all. We got 24 and a half minutes out of Goga on Monday. I think that's going to have to be like what they do this time again. Now, this might be the time where they finally dust off Isaiah Jackson. But it's not like I feel super comfortable with that thought process. I'm going to go 14 to Isaiah, 24 to Batadze, 14 to Isaiah Jackson, and then we're going to go small for O'Shea Brissett, another 24 minutes. I don't have a feel for it right now. Justin Holiday seems like an absolute lock to play a ton today. You know, something in the 30s. And then We didn't get Dwayne Washington or Kiefer Sykes, and we barely got Lance. That makes a ton of sense. JJ, they can't trade Brogdon. He literally cannot be traded. Not like I don't think he can get traded because he's good or bad or his contract. Because he signed an extension, he legitimately cannot be part of a trade. He's the only guy on Indiana that actually can't go anywhere. All right. Well, Levert is going to have 1,000,000% usage today. Let's just pop in for 34 now, and we'll pop in Duarte for it's got to be 33. Oh, Connor, I have no doubt that he's on a minutes restriction, but it's pretty rare that you see a team play a guy his normal first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter rotations and then not come back out on the floor in a relatively competitive game where everybody else that normally plays continues to play. You don't normally take your minutes restriction in the most high leverage spot of the game. No, not similar to a franchise tag. It's just when you sign an extension on your own current contract, you're unable to be traded for 6 months from that time. It's not all extensions, but it is for this particular version. All right, if Jeremy Lamb can play 24 minutes, stands to reason he's going to do that again. First, I just want to get all the minutes on here, and then we'll figure out who's actually playing them. So Torrey Craig is just going to play 30 minutes today. He's just going to eat time. That's going to be the team then. So we're going to go something like this. I'm going to go 32 to Duarte, 24 to Lamb, 30 to Holiday. Well, that's a 9-man Pacers rotation, assuming they go to some combination of Goga, Jackson, Brissett. Clearly, we can. Well, it's not even like we're going to need news midday because I think that we're going to lose Malcolm Brogdon, at which point Dwayne Washington is probably going to become a bit more interesting. But for now, I think this rotation works well. If Brissett happens to start at center, I think going to like 28 minutes will be a little bit more reasonable. I don't trust 24 minutes from Lamb. Oh, I didn't give Lance any minutes. So maybe this needs to be a 10-man rotation. Maybe what did Lamb's rotation look like? Normal backup. Duarte came off. Lamb closed because Brogdon couldn't. Okay, so those Lamb minutes are fake. Those are the Dwayne the Rock Washington. I love it. Those Lamb minutes are fake. So we're going to go 12 minutes to Lance, 12 minutes to Lamb. Now we need to try to figure out who in the world is getting the usage here for the lovely Indiana Pacers team. So we're going to definitely say, I mean, how many minutes have they even just played with Sabonis off and Turner off? Like right away, that's got to be minimal. Yeah. I mean, that's like Chris Duarte's played 65 minutes with both of those guys off. They just don't miss time. So what I'm going to do is leave Turner on. We're going to say that Malcolm Brogdon. Where's Karis LeVert? And Karis LeVert are both active. Because Sabonis affects the game a little bit differently than Turner does. So this is really our only chance to get a good idea of where we need to be. I don't really care about Goga's rates in this scenario, so let's grab these guys first. Because we could leave Turner on. It's not like Turner only ever gets to like average-ish usage, and that's just not going to be all that interesting for us. All right, now I got to go grab the usage rate. Dwayne The Rock Washington really is just still making me laugh in my body. Like I can feel myself holding it back. All right, now we go to assist rate. I can't imagine what this is going to do to Karis LeVert, but I assume it's just going to be a lot of Karis LeVert. I actually thought his assist rate or his usage rate would be a little bit higher, but I guess that's if Brogdon ends up off, Karis LeVert just takes every shot for this team. All right, so now we go back to depth chart here. And back to PvP stats. We'll gut this entire thing. Oh, I don't have music playing in the background. My bad. So let's start with LeVert. 104 minutes with Sabonis off in games that both he and Malcolm Brogdon played. That is shockingly small. Shockingly small. That's how much Sabonis plays. That's what's crazy. LeVert's got a 28.5% usage rate in that time. And then his assist rate. Can I bump that up? Is that going to be too big? I don't know. That'll work. LeVert assist rate actually goes down quite a bit. We will cut that. Rebounding should go up, although it doesn't really. Duarte is going to be interesting here. 21.5% usage rate. So I'm going to keep him in his normal rates. 3.7, 7.8. He does more rebounding. Okay. Brogdon, if he is in, 26.5% usage rate. Same assist rate. Does get a bit of a rebounding bump. Bump him up here. Then we get into the value guys that could be a problem. Like Goga is just going to get whatever he gets when this is all done. But Torrey Craig, 14.4% usage rate. Now, he doesn't do much of anything. O'Shea Brissett's will be interesting. 15.5% usage rate. Nobody's going to give him the ball. He get like a little bit of assist work. You'd think he'd get more rebounds, but he doesn't. And then Justin Holiday, 15.2% usage rate. This is probably skewed a little bit by having TJ McConnell out there, but at the same time, I don't know how the hell to take TJ McConnell off. I'm out of sample. If I take TJ McConnell off of this too, all hell will break loose. There's going to be no playing, no anything time. LeVert has 8 assists in 64 minutes. I mean, it's not even a relevant sample. So I think we just leave Indiana as is. We close this one out with Golden State. Doug, I wanted to play golf. I ended up not registering. So all I have is my one and done pick. Went to Seamus for that one. You should pop on an Engleman high school favorites playlist. I think that's still the same playlist as it would be for me now. It's not just high school favorites. Those songs haven't changed for me. All right, Golden State. Before we run a couple crunches and then get out of here. There we go. Warriors. What do we know other than Draymond being out? No Draymond. No Porter. The bucket is now starting. Iggy's available, no Wiseman. Okay. So no Otto Porter. The bucket is starting. Only other question for me is who else started in that last Golden State game? And that answer would be Looney, Wiggins, Clay, and Steph. Okay, so the bucket is playing at the 4 to start. Good to know. Played 24 minutes. I think saying that he plays 28 feels safe. Give Iggy 20 now that he's back for this one. We got 24 minutes out of Looney, 18 out of Bielitsa. So we're going to go to 24 minutes out of Looney, 16 to Bielitsa, 8 to JTA, 34 for Steph, at 26 for Poole, got 24 for Clay, 18 for GP, go 12 and 16 here. Wiggins in for 32. I think that's all that we can ask for. And rates don't have to change here. I guess I actually do need to grab the buckets rate. It's got to be a pretty tiny sample. But if we go to Golden State and we say that Draymond is off in games that Steph and Wiggins played, what is Kuminga's usage rate? Kuminga. 24.5% usage rate. Now, I don't totally trust that, so I'm going to lock him into his normal 22, but everything else here I think is fine. Iggy in this scenario has a 12% usage rate, so I guess I will lock that in as well. That'll stop everybody else from doing anything, which is really all that matters. But we got Clay in. That's fine. Everybody else looks okay. So I don't think that we have anything else that we could really look at from Golden State, which means I can close one of these windows. I could save this workbook. Yeah, I mean, I think that his minutes will be very slow to go up here. All right, for Indiana, obviously we need to wait on this Brogdon news. Crispy, what's up? But and I haven't asked at all. Hit that like button, guys. Running this one from the old childhood bedroom. I think this one deserves a ton of likes. So hit it if you haven't. Goga Batadze is 3,700 on DraftKings. I assume Goga starts because that's just the only thing that makes sense to me. And if he does, he's a really nice value play and a really curious pivot to someone like JaVale McGee. Chris Duarte for 4,300 on DK, shooting guard, small forward eligible. Amazing price tag on Duarte. Torrey Craig, unfortunately, at the flat minimum on FanDuel is going to be one of the most popular plays of the day. He stinks from a fantasy perspective. Actually, he's not as bad as I'm making it out to be, but he's just a giant value play. LeVert, if Brogdon's out, jam LeVert. If Brogdon's in, those two get complicated a bit. I don't trust Brogdon's minutes, but at 6,600, like there's a ceiling game in there somewhere. Indiana is going to be real tricky, and we probably don't have any of their information when it matters. On the Golden State side, the only thing that looks good is the bucket on DraftKings. And for anybody that doesn't know, the bucket is Jonathan Kuminga. Kuminga is 4,300 on DK, power forward eligible. Massive play that's going to be in the top 10. Definitely one of my contenders for today. Everything else for Golden State looks like it normally does, which is a complete disaster. So let's run some crunches. We'll start with FanDuel. And I appreciate you guys being here and putting up with me on this weird, different schedule, different household for it. Tomorrow's going to be rough. I think it's an 11-game slate, and I got to do it like this, but at least I'll have my sea legs. So that'll be better. All right, optimal lineup on FanDuel to start. Do I have this minimized? Yeah, I do. Optimal lineup on FanDuel: 309.6, Luka, CP3, Karis LeVert, Torrey Craig, Wiggins, Duarte, Randall, Mikal Bridges, JaVale McGee. Thomas J, glad to have you here, man. So that's where we stand from an optimal percentage, or from an optimal perspective. Let me go ahead and turn off those per game averages and projected values. Perfect. That looks a little bit better. All right, so now let's check out power rankings on FanDuel, which could be very interesting. Oh, accidentally closed chat. How did I do this? All right, we're back in business now. Power rankings, FanDuel. Boom. Oh yeah, it's Luka Doncic season today, but it's also Julius Randle season. Luka and Julius Randle are firmly at the top. If the slate locked right now and you need to know who the two best plays were today, it's Luka Doncic and it's Julius Randle, both in about 56% of the crunch. Then you drop down to Curry at call it 40, Bridges 39, Joval 36, Chris Paul 35, Josh Hart 35. Brogdon, Duarte, LeVert, JaVale, Porzingis, Brandon Ingram, all in the 30s. That's a powerful top end here. If you go from Brandon Ingram up, I mean, there's not a lot of scraps there. It's just a lot of guys mid-priced. Rowan, I don't, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Most of what you see in the spreadsheet is either like background calculations, but like for this screen that I show a lot, it should be pretty self-explanatory. EPS is my projection system, what I think each guy is on a per minute basis. Last 30 is the same, just a different. Points per minute is where I have this guy for today's date. So it's basically what I think their actual talent level is, what they've done over the last 30 days, and then what I actually have them for this game, along with game usage, game true shooting, game assist rate, game rebounding rate. All of that just exists for me to do the show with Adam, basically. My projected minutes, position, salary, fantasy points should all be easy. These are blank for right now because we don't have that information. Boom score is the chances that a player will hit 5x plus 10. FanDuel ceiling is how many fantasy points I expect them to have if they have a 1.5 standard deviation performance above their average based on the same amount of minutes. So I think Steph's ceiling in 34 minutes is 59.1 fantasy points, which is a 1.74 fantasy point per minute rate. Seems about right for Steph. And then the plus minus is the ceiling minus the boom score. So basically, I want to know how many points. If I get a ceiling game out of someone, how many points above their boom score does that give me? Because like for someone like Clay, if he has a ceiling game at 6,500 on FanDuel, if he's only playing 20, like in 24, if Clay Thompson's playing 24 minutes and Clay has a ceiling game, I still don't want him at 6,500. I think he's an actively bad play. That's really all that I look at. Yeah, Crispy, Randall over Sabonis because I don't think Sabonis is playing today. All right, let's run DraftKings and then let's get out of here. I am recording contenders videos in a bit. We'll see how long that takes. No strategy show for me today. I've got some things that I need to take care of. Strategy show, though, I will be back for tomorrow with Adam. Alrighty, DraftKings optimal. Yeah, it's so rare that you would see a coach come out and say like potentially significant like the chances of him playing on the back-to-back feel like basically zero. So I'm sure I'll regret saying that. All right, optimal on DK, Luca, Chris Duarte, Josh Hart, Julius Randle, JaVale, Levert, the Bucket, and Goga Batadze. So the double center JaVale Goga lineup with Kuminga gives you the double pay up Julius Randle, Luca. You can turn that into, instead of Randall, Luca, you can go Chris Paul as a slight pay up, and then also get to Joval with that extra savings. Power rankings on DK will be interesting. Ooh, I'm a little creaky. All right, we got Luca, number one play of the day today for me. 55% of the lineups. Kuminga not too far behind. Well, Kuminga and JaVale are tier 2. They're basically the same perfect value options. You probably want them both. You definitely want at least one of them. Then we take a step down. Duarte is sort of in his own tier, and then we pack everybody in together. Craig, Randall, Curry, Josh Hart, Chris Paul, Porzingis, Brandon Ingram, Kemba. That's everybody 25% or higher. I'm surprised Kemba's there. Isn't his price better on FanDuel? 6,100. Craziness. So yeah, we've got a very obvious number one at Luka. We've got this tier 2 of Kuminga and JaVale. Duarte sort of out here on his own in tier 3. And then it's tier 4, Craig, Curry, Randall, Hart, Ingram, Porzingis, Paul, there's no separation then. It's just pretty flat until you get to Devontae Graham. Well, guys, we made it. If you have not hit the like button yet, I don't even know how many likes we have. If you have not hit the like button yet, please do so. I totally forgot. Banner at the top of the screen. I don't even know which direction I need to point. Shout out to Prize Picks for being the presenting sponsor of this video here today. It's great to have them. Go to awesemo.com/prizepicks-promo. You can get a free month of Awesemo Plus. You can get a little bit of a bonus on your first deposit. We have Prize Picks tools on the website that can help you out. If you've never been to awesemo.com before, you should. Prize Picks NBA prop tool, free for you if you're playing on Prize Picks. Now, this is going to be not today's information, or actually it might be. Yeah, it is. All of the props at Prize Picks are on this Prize Picks player prop tool. So you can see Herbert Jones has the prop of 11.5. The awesemo.com website has him at 9.4. You expect to win 65% of the time you take Herbert Jones, which means take Herbert Jones as under. That easy. But this tool is free. That can help you out. That's all I got, though, guys. Thank you for joining me here. I'm about to put you guys through the looking glass. I think it's going to be like a zoomed in thing, so I have to switch to my final tab. But we're back again here for the process tomorrow morning, doing it again for the monster slate. So thank you, guys. I'm out of here. Peace.